Welcome back, folks. Time for the normal warning at the start of these videos. This is entirely for inspiration purposes, because it's better to have an army painted on the table than it definitely is to have it in a box or in a cupboard, or it being unloved and unused somewhere else. So, this time, more of the Pelennor Fields box. This time it's the Morannon Orcs, and simple start, take your spray can, base coat in black. Nice even covering all over. Make sure you keep it nice and thin, don't want to get it too thick and lumpy because certain spray cans can have some ill effects and the quality be a little less than others. And once you get this stage done, let them dry off a little bit, and then you get your second spray can out and move on to stage 2. Stage 2, here we go. Just take your tin of white, give it a quick zenithal highlight from above, pick the same angle, keep the can there, and just work it back and forward till you have as much of a highlight or as little of a highlight as you want. And then once that stage is done, set them aside, let them dry off, and then time to head back inside to a somewhat less ventilated area for the next stages if you live somewhere that is occasionally as cold as where I do. And then stage 3, you want to start picking out your colours for this project. Again, pick a base of 3 or 4 colours and then a wash. Keep the colour scheme to 5 minimum, just for sake of ease of batch painting. And then for this time it is an orange to pick out the vast majority of the fabric and other pieces underneath all the armour on these orcs, and then just get running on through after that, painting out a whole batch of them. So this colour scheme is going to be as simple and as easy to bulk paint for an entire unit or army as you like. The colour choice for this one is this orange for the majority of the cloth parts of the model, and then any other secondary cloth areas are bits you want a bit of differentiation on. The hair and some of the leather work is going to be in a dark grey. The leather will all be picked out in a brown leather tone, and then any metal colour you like for the rest of the armour you'll want. And then once those colours are all down as your colours, just tie it together with a quick all over wash from a dark brown, and that will be your quick and easy colour palette for getting a batch paint job done of an entire force ready for a table and looking good quality of finish that wouldn't be out of place in any game. So here we are, stage 4. Just take that secondary colour for any of the fabrics and other materials you want to paint. In this case it's a darker grey, and then just add it on through the batch as you paint, catching any areas you need to catch, any parts you want to do, boots, gloves, hair, any other small straps and areas. And then once that's done, set them aside to dry as you work your way through a batch and just sit of an evening filling out this paint scheme. Again, this section of the Pelennor Fields box, the Morannon Orcs, I think I probably spent maybe 3 evenings painting up all of the Morannons that came with the box set. And after that, they were all ready to go to be put on any table. And then stage 5, you pick your leather tone, whatever it may be, and then just go through the model and then simply pick out all the leather work that you didn't want to pick out in the grey, or that you think you may have got a little bit of over colour on. Just level it out with any of the leather to just pick out any straps here and there where you might have got the orange or the grey over straps and bits and pieces. I would suggest, however, a slightly finer brush than I am using here for your leather straps. I simply didn't have a finer brush than this on hand at that point in time, so I used what I had, and it still turned out quite alright. Stage 6 now, take your metal, as in this case here, it's a very old tub of bolt gun metal that I am eking out as much as possible, because it is one of my favourite metal colours, and I think will always be one of my favourite metallics. So you go through your batch at this point, adding metal, all the bits that are metal, everything you want, all the armour, all the swords, all the spear tips, any other bits of helmets and edges of shields you may want. Pick out all those areas, give them all a good hit with the metal, and then once that's done, set it all aside, let all your different layers dry and tidy off, and then once that's done, tidy up some bits and pieces around the workshop, as are always needing done in most work areas. And then once that's done, time to move on to the next stage, and then that's us nearly done. So, final stage, stage 7. Take your brown wash and apply merrily in a nice, reasonable, thick coat all over the entire model, just to tie things together a little and darken off some of the brighter colours, put a bit of dirt and life into the recesses, and make these orcs look a little more orcish. Because part of me has always thought that the forces of evil in the wastes of Lord of the Rings and in the dark, horrible, dank places of the world would be a little bit dusty and dirty and grimy and covered in bits and pieces of not necessarily the most hygienic things around the world. And I think it's nice, it also ties it ties everything together, brings them in nice. A final stage you could do at this point as well would also be, if you felt like it, mix up some orcish skin tones ranging in whatever colours you like, green through to white, darken it down a little, lighten it up a little with some blacks and some whites, and then just pick out any exposed hands or faces you want to pick out at this stage, or just leave them alone. At this point they're pretty much table ready. A final stage I think I added once I finished this paint job was doing some base work. I just spread on a thick coat of PVA and then sprinkled on some railway aggregate, I believe, small fine stones in black, and then just sealed them in place on the bases. tidied up the rims with a little bit of black paint, and then that was them good to go, ready for the table. I hope this inspires you to get painting some more models in a simpler and easier way. And get some practice, because I feel like practice makes perfect, or not necessarily perfect in this case, but practice definitely makes you a little bit better at this hobby that is painting. So as always, once this stage is finished, it'll jump into some glamour shots for the finished painted unit. And if you like what you see, give the video a like, subscribe, tell your friends, and come back next week to see what we're doing next on the channel. Thanks very much. See you folks next time.